guys, how can we make this football better? And even the stakeholders after the symposium in Morocco, there was a lot that was decided. So, we are basically implementing these things in France, basically telling us this is how we want to go, this is the way we want competitions to go, this is where Africa must go. So I believe it is something very good because problem, in Africa, we used to give our friends jobs, people who are close to us and people who make us feel nice, but now there's a professionalism, you've got people who can do the job, people who understand the job. So I believe we're moving forward in the right way. And in Africa, people can see basically how things are moving because it was never this way. The old men who are there basically implementing their own strategies and how to make their own things. While football was going down, but right now things have changed. Even FIFA, have acknowledged, the crop of leadership that is there is fundamental because now there's hope that can be seen across the continent.
Okay. A number of things I've noticed also is organizing a number of conferences, and then of course there's this football medicine in Africa, symposium or workshop that's coming up in this year, and those are groundbreaking because those are things that we never used to have across the continent, and it's important that the folks that are in administration on the lower level, on the national level, and even at the club levels, or those minor leagues in across the continent be given an opportunity to grow, and these are really critical. And I don't know what are the plans beyond the continental level, but I have to commend the administration again on this effort. Now let's switch over to women's football. Women's football is being headed by a woman from my own country, Madam Aisha Johansson, and Sierra Leone, and women's football is on the up and up, and I have to commend her for her efforts. Definitely, it's a different story within Sierra Leone as an entity, but on the continental level. And which is I'm not surprised because I know she's capable, but I don't know. Of course, there are reasons why there's been a bog down within Sierra Leone, but I have to commend her. But so what are what can you say as a media expert that's covering? Do you see that kind of reveals where women's football is headed? How prominent do you think Africa will be within the next 5 years in a women's World Cup, for one?
Yeah, first of all, let's start by 2018 when we had the first ever African Women's Football Symposium held in Marrakesh, Morocco. This basically brought all the stakeholders of the game. And this was the meeting was key because it was basically meant only for women football because we've had a factor here, whereby women football, a lot of money has been given maybe by FIFA, but the same trickle down to football federation. And instead of them pumping it into women football, some of them have been, diverting it to other issues. And this is not good. That's why I believe with the coming of the symposium, we've seen a lot of changes because look at the women African Cup of Nations. Look at the quality of the games. Look at the quality of competition. That is one thing we are really working on, and Africa is working hard towards women football because they realize that if men can basically, in other places around the world, if women can get the bread and butter through that game, why not in Africa? And yes. We have a lot of talented people. So this is why CAF is trying to implement this through the federation and telling them, despite anything, you have to have a women's team. You have to have a women's league. And there's one thing that I like what FIFA is doing because there's a FIFA program that was started by President Gianni Infantino. And one of the emphasis to get funds out of that program, you have to bring your projects for the women. This is going to go a long way in helping the 54 member associations from Africa to develop the game. Because right now, look at South Africa. For Africa, South Africa is one of the key places where women's football has grown. Apparently, it's almost the only country where there's a solid sponsor in SASO. Sponsoring the women's team from the junior level all up. That is something very commendable. And this is where we're going to. That's why there's a lot of emphasis on the game. Looking at even small countries like South Sudan. I was in South Sudan, I was impressed because despite there's so many, in Africa, we've got so many cultural implications. Guys are told that, you cannot play the game because of this. So it's but this barrier that now you can go to Sudan and find a play. You can go to the guy for Africa. In the previous time, the growth will be seen and Africa participating at the highest level. Already see how they're going to pull out of it, because now there's a lot of interest, there's money which has come in, but one thing we really want to emphasize, the Federation must make sure that this money goes to the women football. There's a case in Somalia whereby money comes in, but the head of football does not even have a seat, does not even have an office space because of traditional things, It is so unfair. I think some of the barriers that we should completely kill and finish so that we can help grow this sector of the game, because when women basically, look at how women are now coming into African football. The best coach was from from South Africa, the best women coach. She beat up 4 female male counterparts. That is the best goal for Africa in 2018 was scored by a lady. It beat other competitors who are men.
Right.
So these are just some of the few examples that are telling us that okay.
Right.
And if we put more emphasis and make sure that the money goes to the right place, then we're going to really improve. And it's going to be a big thing in Africa and the world.
That is awesome, and that's like I say, I commend Madam Aisha Johansson for tireless work that she's putting out there for the growth of women's football across Africa. You just mentioned something there, the money given for development of women's football to the different federations. That is one thing. One of my issues with financing or money situations with sports across Africa, not just with football, is a lot of associations or federations across the continent sit and wait for the continental or the global governing body to hand them money and not make any extra effort to go out there themselves and seek funding from within their local communities and sponsorship and things like that. And I say this because I know it for a fact, and I don't know what plans the CAF has in terms of training the different associations and their heads that are responsible for marketing and sponsorship on how to teach their various club leaders and their marketing people in different sectors on how to seek sponsorship, because that is key. You just can't sit there and wait for the continental body and the global governing body to hand cash to you every time. If you really if you're serious about developing the game, there are local companies, there are cell phone companies, there are oil companies, there are so many different companies across Africa. We need to find that synergy between sports and businesses across Africa for them to understand that with sports comes profitability for them as well, because it gives them recognition as well. So I hope as we're talking and this goes out there that the powers that be or that matters can look into these issues, because there are a myriad number of things that need to be developed, obviously, and I can say for a fact that we are really not doing very well in those areas. There is so much resource in Africa for one thing. Now, As a media person, I know I mentioned something about connecting with the fans earlier, and I cannot end my interview with you without talking about fan engagement. And fan engagement is a critical thing in sports. We take for granted. I know you mentioned the fact that the Champions League was broadcasted, but what were the marketing schemes that were put in place? How many people across the continent were plugged in? Because obviously, with the English Premier League or La Liga or one of these other leagues or the Bundesliga out there, when they have something coming up, they drum it in your head for days or months, and then they use various avenues, different media outlets to get the word out. So what are the plans, or if there were not that much robust planning in terms of marketing, what are the future plans for CAF to engage with fans to bring them out in mass numbers? Because that's key. That's important. The fan pays us. They pays the bills at the end of the day. They're the ones that are going to spend their money. So what are the plans for fan engagement going forward?
As you rightly said, fan engagement is key to the football development in the continent. First of all, let's just realize that there's football beyond the 90 minutes, because what are you telling the fan before the 90 minutes or after the 90 minutes? Because if you're basically going to be talking to the fan in the 90 minutes alone, this fan is going to go back to the European League. So that's where the CAF is looking at creating, content that basically talks to the fan, engages the fan before the 90 minutes, during the 90 minutes, and after the 90 minutes, because this is now the key, because the narrative has to keep on changing. You have to basically build up on them. You have to keep on telling them the stories that are happening. As you say, you have to keep on drumming, these tournaments that are being played. That's why you see there's a lot of fan engagement, and this is being done basically through social media. Social media has become a very big element in the football disruption, you see. Basically, because the traditional media whereby there was television and radio is now being surpassed, because everyone now has a phone as a gadget, even our grandmothers back at home. So it is much easier for someone to be deep in a village in Sierra Leone to be able to get information, basically gathering through the social media networks. That's why we've seen a lot of heightened activity in the fan engagement through CAF, in their platforms. Some of it they're doing through their marketing, their own marketing. We can't say the marketing it's going high level, but they've done their best. And I believe we continued support and a lot of ideas coming, things are going to be changing, because when fans keep on getting the information, fans will want to know, because we want a fan to know a team, like let's say the New Rangers in Nigeria. A fan in Kenya or a fan in Uganda should be able to know the players there just like they know the players in Liverpool, because this is something they keep on driving for them.
Absolutely.
So that's why that bit is very critical, as you said it, because that is the bit that is going to be throughout the football. Because when there's fan engagement, it means they're going to entice the fans and they're going to go back to the stadium. Mm-hmm. And what is going to happen once they go back to the stadium? There's the revenue coming in, because now, and our game, apart from the revenue, the game will be growing, because now we'll be able to have the fans and the stadium filled by this particular fans, because they want to see what you'll be talking about. And even after the game, there will be discussions across different platforms of exactly what is happening and the improvements that are taking place. So, on that particular point you said, I think that is very key, because as much as we talk about football development, with the money that comes in, the fans are key to anything that is going to happen, because they want to know what is happening at the fingertip. It is breaking news right now. What is happening? Okay, the CAF awards. They can't sit on TV, but can CAF stream it via the cell phone, basically, where you buy data? Yes. Like, most of the people are watching the CAF awards through their cell phone. So these are some of the very key things that are really happening, and I think if they can happen in a bigger way, because all these things need a budget. So these are some of the things that CAF also